Hi, Ling. What's happening? America. Danster, you're the first of the go. You're the first moderator to show up. Welcome, Danster. What's happening, everybody? Happy Monday. Had a very productive weekend. Had a long weekend. Took last Thursday and Friday off, so had a 4-day weekend, and all I did was a bunch of running around and getting errands done and getting parts amassed and valve springs measured again and just trying to get things figured out. And about got the brake. We're trying to bleed the brakes on Lady Dougster's Super Beetle today, and fluid's not moving. Big surprise there. So we might have to replace the rubber lines. I was hoping to the brake hoses. I was hoping to get around that and just make it work, because I really want Lady Dougster to drive her car before summer's done, and it's so close. So yeah, I just know if I get into brake hoses, then it's going to be a whole, yeah. But got the wheel cylinder put on now. I'll show those to you later. I got new wheel bearings and everything. We still got to grease those and everything. Salty Badger, good evening. Salty Badger, whereabouts in the great state of Michigan do you reside? North? What corner? Northwest, northeast, southwest, southeast? Because you seem awful familiar with my area. Southwest Cereal City, duly noted. Top 10, what's happening? Southwest Cereal City, okay. I know where you're at. So is your local raceway Galesburg Speedway? No, Southwest. Yeah, Galesburg. Galesburg Speedway's by you. Yeah, that place is a riot. I was trying to get Lady Dougster. Well, we were out in the sun all day. And we decided against it. But at first, before, what were we discussing? Whatever. We talk about everything and nothing all at the same time. We boldly go nowhere here. Good friend owns it. No shit. No shit. That's great. That's great. At first I had Friday off, so we went and did our running around and went and caught lunch at one of our favorite lunch spots, and it was great. It was long overdue. And I'm like, it was a good day, everything was feeling good, and I'm like, let's go to the races. She goes, the races? Yeah. She goes, oh, Friday night, something's happening. And she goes, I want dirt. I go, dirt racing? Okay, so I research all the dirt tracks, which is I-96 Speedway, which is almost Ionia, and it's a pretty good minute away from me. It's 45 minutes. And so, nope, race is on Saturday, not Friday. Okay, so here's what I found. We could have gone to Martin Dragway for just a test and tune night, or Kalamazoo Speedway, and it was like Super Shoe weekend. So championship, the whole shebang. So Kalamazoo Speedway would have been a riot. And then, I forgot the other one. We decided, yep, Kazoo Speedway Friday nights. Yeah, the world's fastest 3/8 mile. Guys, it's a 3/8 mile donut. It is a little itty bitty donut, and those guys rip them 100 mile an hour in that little thing. It is amazing, the line they run too. Yeah, Muskegon Dirt. Thunderbird. It's right next door. As a matter of fact, if you're taking Russell Road off of 31 and you're driving to Michigan's Adventure, you will drive past Thunderbird Raceway before you hit Michigan's Adventure. Yeah, the T-Bird. Oh yeah, I remember being a little kid and like you hear the rate, we're leaving, it's closing time at the amusement park, and yeah, I'm hearing them. They're running, they're doing their thing, and I mean, the whole family is just dog tired. We've been at the amusement park all day, but me being an energetic little kid, I'm like, can we go to the races, please, please, please? And of course, you know your parents are gonna be like, no, kid, no, I want to go to the races. Dog named Jake and a cat named Kalamazoo. There, that artist actually performed that song on an episode of WKRP. Yeah. Kalamazoo's a cool town, y'all. Kalamazoo is a historic town. Shakespeare fishing equipment, Kalamazoo, Michigan. That's where it was all made. So if you've got Shakespeare stuff, if I've got access to it, I have a USA made Shakespeare reel. And it's buried, you know. Might get it in a minute. But yeah, Shakespeare fishing equipment, Gibson guitars, checker cabs. They referred to Kalamazoo, Michigan as mini Detroit. Oh, your daughter lives that close to the T-Bird? Wow, cool. I know that neighborhood a little bit. Hoyt accent. He was on the Dukes of Hazzard too. Oh, I have no doubt. With a voice like that and the picking ability, man, he had it all. He looked the part too. He looked like he's how he sounded. Yeah. There is a it's also a bomber named Kalamazoo Gal, but there is I think it's Roger Miller. He has a song called "I've Got a Gal in Kalamazoo," and it starts off A B C D E F G H. I got a gal in Kalamazoo. It's from the 40s, so it's a big band sounding. It's a big band, and it actually is pretty cool. Currently in a town known for their piston rings. I know the town. Kevin, what's happening? Known for their piston rings. Right on. I spent a lot of time in that town. Many years ago, I worked at one of the corporations on the outskirts of town. Well, this company, you'll know this one, Salty Badger. This company took over the old Proline Bow facility in that town. If you know who I'm talking about, I used to work there right out of high school. Well, I've got a girl, she lives on the block. She's kind of funky with her pink and black socks. She likes to boogie. Trailer for sale or rent? Yep. King of the Road. That's what it is. King of the Road. Oh yeah, that's always a hit. People, that's one of those tunes that just kind of everyone kind of knows it because it's so catchy. Yeah, rooms to let for 50 cents. How long ago was that? Well, in the 40s, after Grandpa Dougster got home from World War II, he went to work for the Grand Rapids knee-high bottler making knee-high pop. He was a rail car unloader, hauling bags of sugar and whatnot out of the rail cars. And he left working knee-high, which was an all right, steady job. He left working knee-high to go to work for Pepsi because Pepsi was paying a nickel more an hour. And Grandpa would bang the table when he'd say this, I can't turn down that kind of money. So a nickel more an hour in the 40s must have been substantial because you just couldn't walk away from that kind of money. So I've often thought about that. This is a story that I've heard from my grandpa and my dad almost my entire life. And I've been thinking about it. And here's what I think. A nickel more an hour, I can't turn down that kind of money. It's got to be the equivalent to $2 more an hour in today's money. Because same job, hey guy, same job you're doing right now, work for me, $2 more an hour. And you'd be like, yeah, can't turn down that kind of money. So a nickel had to have been huge. No, I won't, never board. The unveiled, the smoke out. Hell, you have to be unveiled for the Shakedown ride. High noon at the 4th of September. Ooh, high noon. Klinger and Radar's favorite, yes, grape knee-high. I actually have a knee-high glass refillable bottle that says Knee-High Bottling Company, Grand Rapids, Michigan on it. So that's pretty cool. Dang it, says Nevermore. Dang it. She'll do it for $2. Whoa. No thanks. Oh, we need to turn that off. There. Knee-high to a grasshopper. Grasshopper. Master, why do you call me grasshopper? Because you ugly like little bug. Gonna freshen my drink. I'm gonna grab a beer. I'm telling you, Dutch, you don't have to put on pants. Nobody sees you. You could be running around the house doing the helicopter for all I care. As long as I don't see it, it's good. The old Archway cookie plant is up for sale. Really? Archway cookies. Yes. My mom, as a treat, sometimes, and not always, sometimes, when we go grocery shopping and all of us kids were good for a change, Mom would buy a pack of Archway molasses cookies. Now, they're a pretty good store-bought cookie for molasses cookies. Homemade's way better, but yeah. Archway cookies, all I can ever think of is molasses cookies. That's Dougster's favorite. Soft molasses cookies, not crunchy ones, please. Turbo in Akron. Back in Ohio. Good to see you, Tom. I had already forgotten that I grabbed a beer instead of a pop. Took a sip of it, and I'm like, that's not beer. That's not pop. Yeah, Archway does make a damn good cookie. What's up? I was trying to work on bleeding the brakes on Lady Dougster's Super Beetle, and this big old pickup truck, big old diesel pickup truck pulls up in my driveway, and my lady's like, "Who's this?" And I said, "I don't know, but we'll find out." And I get up, and it's an old friend of the family. Haven't seen him in probably 3 or 4 years, so it's good to see him again. And he's in the neighborhood again. It's even better. Where are you now? I'm in Michigan. Hardly ever leave this place. Sometimes I'll go to Missouri or drive all the way out to Montana for truck parts. That was a cool trip. Theodore Roosevelt State Park is beautiful. Beautiful. It's always a surprise when somebody puts pop in your coffee cup. Okay. I pulled a prank on my dad and it backfired. It backfired or worked out perfectly, whichever way. My dad was notorious for pouring himself a glass of soda, take a few drinks about it, stand around, talk with us. He'd set it on the counter and then go get busy doing whatever, and it would just sit there. And usually he'd dump it out because it had sat for so long. So one day he's left the eternal thing of pop out. I grabbed the Tabasco sauce out of the fridge and I put a whole bunch of dashes of hot sauce in it, put it back in the fridge. And then dad never come back. And I figured he was just going to dump it out. I'm like, oh, well, we're all in bed. All of a sudden I hear, ah! Dad finished the glass of pop. He's like, it was like drinking fire, he said. True story. True story. Getting the road race car ready to run for Monday. Tow truck needs work. Oh, that's what you were asking me if I was busy on Monday. Yes, Salty Badger. Yeah. Yes. Isn't it sad how flourishing that city used to be and how bad off it is now? At one time, that was just, yeah, it's like a lot of other places, just gets run down. All the industry leaves, and the industry's a hinge pin. Soap in the coffee. No, no, won't put soap in the coffee. Don't need anyone farting bubbles. 50 cars running consecutively at 50-car field should be insanity. Really? So are you guys actually going to like qualify for pole position and actually be on the grid? Are you guys going to start in a grid and you guys are going to go door to door? Very cool. Neverboard, thanks for stopping in. That would be cool. Does nothing special. What's going on? Guatemala. Nice. Had to apply for licenses and whatnot. No more cones. Wow. Wow. Work, home, rinse, repeat. Yeah. Yeah, I was getting the work, home, rinse, repeat thing going on. I took a 4-day weekend and just caught up on a bunch of projects around the house. The bathroom's almost done. Need to work on the bathroom. Justin, what's happening? Bathroom's almost done. I'd like to get that done, but I can work on that anytime. A lot of the other stuff is weather permitting, and right now all the humidity went away. It's actually cold when I ride to work now because all the humidity's gone. And gonna see if I can beat my top speed of 137. Yeah. What raceway? Is that going to be at Grattan or is that going to be at Gingerman? Or text me the track location if you don't feel comfortable talking about it here. Living the dream in Idaho, Grattan. Okay. Grattan used to be a drag strip. And then the shutdown lane was going out towards the road. And as they started going, it was a half-mile drag strip or quarter-mile drag strip, and they didn't have enough shutdown lane. So finally, they had a few close calls. No one ever actually hit the road, got out on the road, and they ended up turning Grattan from a drag strip into a road course. And the main drag up the middle, the big straightaway, is the old drag strip. Wearing gloves, wow. I wore gloves this morning. I wore a coat and gloves on my way to work this morning. Gingerman requires a different wallet than mine. I don't want to pay $500 for 5 laps. I'll pay $80 for 8. $500 a lap? My God. Pepperidge Farms. Oh, Pepperidge Farms is by the Chrysler dealership? Cool. Why, yes. What's happening, Damien? Allegedly here on the weekends, not sanctioned or legal, but safe for the most part. Yeah. Well, there's always going to be action in Mexico. Don't ever race on the street. Race in Mexico. Yeah, Pepperidge Farm never forgets. There's actually an old pop brand from Michigan, made in Detroit, still today, Faygo Pop. And they have an old commercial that's called "Remember When You Were a Kid?" Well, part of you still is. And that's why we make Faygo. Faygo remembers. It's a great jingle. When is No Name Nationals? I think it's like the 20th of September. So we're like less than a month away. Love the Dream Cruise. I've never done Dream Cruise. I've cruised Woodward and have cruised a little bit of Woodward, but yeah, not like cruised Woodward looking for action kind of thing. But did cruise Woodward, and but never for Dream Cruise. Metro Cruise was just last weekend up in Grand Rapids, and that's actually a pretty big deal around here. Don't race on the street unless it's Woodward Avenue. Even Damien's not even from here, and he knows that. I was in Mexico the other day with some high proof. Fuel. Salty Badger. You're under half pint. I was semi under a beetle today. Back in 78, I went to Dream Cruise with my girlfriend and we both raced. Nice. Nice. Yeah, it's back in the day, the Grand Rapids car culture was okay. Um, you would be able to cruise up to, there was a plaza that everyone would cruise to and hang out, and then you had the hot rodders here, and then you had your low riders and your boom boom stereo guys. They also hung out there, but they would be away from us. And not that they weren't welcome, because we'd go check out their stuff, they check out ours. But yeah, they sat in their spot, and we looked at ours, and it was a good time. Everyone hung out, and you know things were exchanged, and we might. The rule was not to race in the area, to go outside of town to Mexico to race, and always, but never there. And I've seen some dumb stuff over the years. Well, eventually they got this whole new no loitering thing going on, and yeah, you park there for after hours for longer than 10 minutes, and you'll have a roller on you, and you need to leave. Yeah, and it's that way down this whole big street. It's very popular in Grand Rapids. It's like if it's happening, it's on that road. It's that kind of place. And yeah, basically every business after dark you can't park and hang out at. We even went to a model place, actual hobby shop, talked to the owner, got him to sign a permission slip, fill it all out, permission slip signed and everything. And we went and started hanging out at the hobby shop, and we got kicked out of there. And we're like, look, we have permission from the owner to be here. Here's his phone number. Call him. Nope, doesn't matter. Ordinance this, this, and this. You have to leave. Well, we have permission from the owner. Nope. Ordinance this, this, and this. You have to leave. And escorted us off of the property. Went from Detroit to Pontiac. Yep. I did a construction job in Pontiac, Michigan, and we were literally, I used to do playground equipment for elementary schools as like a part-time gig, a little bit of construction work. And we did a job for Pontiac Public Schools, or whatever their school system was, but it was Pontiac Public. And the Pontiac, the elementary school was across the road from the Silverdome. And that was really neat. And it's we're working on this over winter break. So it's like that time off between Christmas and New Year's. We're installing we're installing new pieces of equipment. And all of a sudden we hear geese, big old white geese. And they're flying. I mean, the parking lots around the Silverdome is amazing. There's probably 400 acres of parking lot. It's just amazing. And then, like an island, the Silverdome used to sit in it with its domed roof. We're hearing geese. Okay, big deal. We're working. And here comes this big flock of geese up over, and they hug tight. They stayed at a distance, but they followed the contour of the Silverdome as they come over. Then they got low, and they come across the parking lot, and then across the road. It wasn't that busy, and they all started landing in the back of the playground where we're working, putting in the play structures. And so, okay, yeah, there's 12, 13 geese back there. We're not bothering them, and they're fine. So we're working away, and they're doing their thing. Big deal. It's kind of funny. That was really cool to watch them. All of a sudden, honk, 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 honk. They light up. The ones that are already landed, they light up. Hey, bud, we're here. And basically the whole family showed up. There had to have been 200 white geese in the back of this, the playground is like a big L shape, and they're off in the other side in the L of the thing. But there had to have been 200 white geese all honking and having a good old time while we're trying to put in that play structure. So it's winter, cold, snowy, and then as we're working around this, it's all clay, and we're wearing, you know, insulated coveralls and work boots and you know, like winter boots, and everything is getting the clay stuck to it. And we have to stop to scrape the clay off of our boots periodically so you're not picking up 15-pound boots. The cuffs of my insulated bibs are now layered up with caked on clay, and we're scraping that off. So we knew we were getting ourselves into beforehand, and we actually had to stay at a nice hotel, and because it was a road job. And so we warned them, like, we're working construction. We want a room closest to the door so we can park the truck, walk in the door, the side door, wherever it is, and immediately go to our room so we don't make a big mess for you guys. And then we're going to be filthy. Can you put rugs down and stuff for us? Or at least a rug at our door. And they're like, oh, yeah, sure. So our first day, we're scraping as much mud, clay that we can off of our clothes before we hit the hotel. Nobody put nothing down for us at all. Promised us the moon and stars. So we said, all right. And we walked to our room and made a big old mess. You know, laid down rugs or put down something. We would have taken stuff off if we could have, but no. And next morning, we leave, and you can see where we were, and worked our next day, and we came back to the hotel room. They had rugs laid outside for us on either side of the door, and we had like a rug road going to our room. They must have put down 15 rugs, and they had a big generous spot for us to take our dirty clothes off. Yeah, they learned their lesson. So, yeah. Youpers aren't troopers. Some youpers can be troopers. If you're part of the MSP up in the Upper Peninsula, you are a youper trooper. Doug won't give me a wrench. I've put it to committee, and the committee must vote. He knows better. As long as you're not scared, Dino, what's happening? I'm not scared. Yeah, we were working right next to the Pontiac Silverdome. As a matter of fact, the hotel that we were staying at was we could walk if we didn't have to slug our gear. We could have walked from the hotel to the elementary school. And that's all across the street from the Silverdome. The Silverdome takes up an enormous, or took up, the parking lots are still there, the building's gone, takes up an enormous amount of space. And they had billboards right on the corner saying, it was something along the lines of, we would have to pay for that out of our tax base, and nobody's doing anything with it. And it was basically saying a shot to the head is more humane than paying for this. And I remember huge billboards right on the corner of the two streets where they intersected of the Silverdome. They weren't even using the Silverdome on the inside. They tried to make it a drive-in theater by putting screens on the outside of the Silverdome. And I don't think it worked that long. And then when Dieselgate happened, all the Volkswagen dirty diesels, they all had to go somewhere. They were sitting, I don't know if they still are, but they were sitting in the old Silverdome parking lot. Sea of cars. I wonder if they left the turf when they demolished it. No, some old Detroiters got it as carpet in their house. You know someone does. Selling it for remnants. Your back porch can have Silver Dome turf. I use a wrench all day. I'm tired of wrenches. They love to waste money. I know that when they tore down Tiger Stadium, that you can go to the corner, Michigan and Trumbull, and you used to be able to. It still is it's a dirt lot now. It's still a baseball field, just a dirt lot, which is crazy. And home plate got taken from Tiger Stadium and put to Comerica Park. There's a big ceremony with that. When they were closing Tiger Stadium, they asked legendary Tiger announcer Ernie Harwell. They're like, they're tearing down Tiger Stadium, Ernie. Yep. If you could have one thing out of Tiger Stadium, what would it be? And he goes, I want the away team's urinal. He goes, think of all the greats that used it. Because it was, I'm like, okay. That's an interesting choice, but he's right. All the greats did use it. Look how much they sold the stuff out of the Joe Louis Arena to all the idiots for what them. Arena seats are sure comfortable watching hockey games on the TV. Ah, yes. Joe Louis Arena replaced the Olympia. So first there was the Olympia, and then I think 79 they built Joe Louis, and then I forget when they built Little Caesars Arena. Will be model car content when I do. You know, before I actually had my own garage to wrench in, I was heavily into model cars. But now I want to play with the real things again. Back when I worked my last job at 84 hours a week, I had very little time to, I had lots of money. I had very little time to actually spend, do anything. All I was doing was working and sleeping. That's all I was doing. I was existing. And I had the pocketbook for the first time in my life to buy whatever I wanted. And started buying Coleman lanterns and little things I could tinker with to keep my gearhead side happy. And roadkill really helped at that time, just having a gearhead outlet. I have so much in common with Old Tiger Stadium. One, they used to make deliveries to it. Two, my childhood home is also now a dirt lot. That's funny. The doctor wants me to have back surgery again. This would be number 6. Oh, I understand why you can't do cars. Back surgery again? Man. Buy a slice of pizza at Little Caesars Arena or buy 2 full pizzas from the restaurant down the road. Man, do they frown on that? Yeah. The price of concessions are absolutely outrageous. You know, oh, what was it? My friend was saying it was like $40 for just the. My friend took her grandson and granddaughter to some dinosaur exposition thing. And the collectible cup for the kid and dino nuggets was like 23 or $24. And the older grandchild had nachos, and those were $18. And yeah, it was like for like pops and eats for the kids, your normal snacky stuff. It was like $75. Man, for just chips and cheese, It wasn't like you handcrafted that or anything. It's just open up a bag of chips, dump some cheese on it. There you go. $18? It's in constant worry. Oh, Dean. DoorDash beer at a concert. A friend of mine, he is like Grand Poobah mastered going to the fair. He always goes to the fair on a huge budget and real tight budget. So they only buy like, you've only got this much. So yeah, you can go buy some trinkets, but you guys got this much. Spend wisely. And then that doesn't go into your, your play money like ride the rides and stuff. They do all that, but no concessions while they're there. And what they do is they pack one hell of a picnic basket and they just go out to the car and eat and have a really nice picnic. And I'm like, that's a really good idea, because you're walking around the fair and you're getting hit by all those smells, getting hungry, of course, and you just go back and yeah, my friend always packs one hell of a feast for everyone. So I can hold a beer in the folds of my beer gut with a very long straw. Just drinking beer with a straw just seems wrong. Tori spelling error. Ah. What's Tori Spelling's dad's name? I don't remember it right off the top of my head. Anthony, welcome. Yeah, that's the only reason why Tori Spelling really got famous, is because Aaron. Yep, very good, Danster. It is Aaron Spelling. Yeah, he's the main reason why Tori ever got into. Do I get an AA? Aaron Spelling. Yep, it is Aaron. I thought it was Ron, but something told me to be quiet. Do you get an AA? Okay, I'll give you a double Fonzie. A. Be right back. Let's teach my two bare feet to appear. No. Rod Sterling. Yeah, Rod Sterling. Yeah, because Ari Debernia here on YouTube, check him out. He's a really cool guy. He's able to mimic that speech pattern like Rod Sterling had, and he calls that character Rod Knock Sterling. Okay, I'm gonna freshen my drink. Be right back. Almost ready, y'all. Oh, I already have it there next to the table, or next to the camera. All right. Don't knock, they just do. Whoa. Rod Knockster. So we ordered off of the jungle site. We got new wheel bearings for the inner and outer wheel bearings and seals for Lady Dougster's Super Beetle. We took the driver's drum off, and one of the rollers had a big old chunk missing out of it. And the cage looked like it was pretty beat up, like it had digested some of that. So I'm like, she goes, is that bad? I'm like, that's pretty bad, babe. So we're going to be replacing both of the inner and outer wheel bearings. We went to the cheap tool store. There's a place by me that it's the anything store. He goes and finds big lots of whatever, usually tools and tarps and gloves and sandpaper rolls and tools. And he just has two stores, and it's actually pretty cool. It's not the greatest of tools, but it's cheap. And I found a cone type bearing packer there for $2. Took it out of its original package from like 1981. And yeah, so we're going to be packing up the bearings the nice way. And Lady Dougster's like, but I want to do it this way. And I'm like, you can if you'd like. I recommend you glove up, but this is a lot easier. And she's still like, no, I want to do it this way. Okay. Who am I to say no? So yeah, we got those. And then I first I went to the cheap tool store to get metric pipe wrenches. I didn't have any tubing wrenches. And I'm like, well, we need to do something about it. So I went to the cheap tool store, and I wanted a metric and I wanted a standard. And I found a standard set, 3 wrenches, six different, ends. It was like $6 or $7. It wasn't that much. And then I bought that, figuring that somewhere in the little town that I'm in that I can find a metric set and be good, right? Wrong. Went to 3 places. Nobody else had tubing wrenches. So I think about it, and I go, it isn't that much further away to the Hobo Freight. I ended up going to Hobo Freight. Now, the set that I got was 3 wrenches, 6 combinations. Each, both metric and standard for Hobo Freight, are 5 wrenches, 10 combination. And they were, I think it was $33 or something like that for both sets. So heck yeah, I bought those. And they're actually pretty nice. They're a lot better quality than what wrenches I had bought. I took those back. But here's what else I bought while I was there. They always got just a little bit of everything. I got a cheap Stanley pick set. I do love picks. And Lady Dougster brought me some nice picks home from her friend's house, and those were really nice. Picked up a air regulator for one of my paint guns, my siphon feed paint guns. And then I got a couple of a little 10-piece precision wrench set. Lady Dougster about pooped herself with joy when I showed her these. She just like, oh, they're so little, they're so cute, oh my God. I paid $10 for them, guys. I got my $10 worth out of that. And then I got a couple of cheap Chinesium breaker bars. for 1/4 inch and 3/8. The big one's a Stanley, and I think that's chicken lo mein flavor, but for the small, the 1/4 inch drive was $2.50, the 3/8 was $5. And it's a Stanley, so it ain't, I'm not going to be hanging off of it with a pipe, but I'll break things loose. And like everything, I'll buy the cheap stuff until the Fine USA example shows up. Then it's replaced. Come with an extra 10 millimeter. Actually, I brought it to work the other day just to show my coworker it. But New Guy's Guitar, or New Guy's Garage, and his brother, New Guy's Guitar, you can hardly see it, but here it is. You can hardly read it because it's just laser engraved. Yeah, you can't hardly read it anymore. But anyways, they just bought a bunch of bulk sockets, and they had them laser engraved 25/64. This is a 25/64, which is the standard equivalent to 10 millimeter. And they say that you can't lose it because it's not a 10 millimeter. It's a 25/64. Marriage versus courting. Bought about 10 1/4, 3/8, 1/2 inch extensions for $5 at a garage sale. Yeah. Good names, or just a random assortment of whatever extensions? If they're a good name, that's even better. Tie 2x4. Whoa! Dark Side Dan and Terminal Tom are so cool. Dark Side Dan. I could be Dastardly Dougster. Just some I don't have to worry about. Yeah, I was driving lifters out of an engine, and they were really bad. And they were so badly mushroomed that I had to push them down to get them out. And heavens to Megatroid. I ended up using a cheap Chinesium extension and to use as a hit. And it was funny because I was using a really I have a hammer that I call my lucky hammer, and it's good steel. And if you get a good swat on the old girl, you'll hear her ring, ping, ping, ping. And I was just shoveling the coal. As long as I didn't hurt the lifter bore, that thing is leaving. And I still got the extension, and it's got you can't put a 3/8 on it anymore. It won't fit. One-eyed cat. Teflon Don, what's happening, my guy? So last Monday I brought home my bandsaw, and then over the weekend I actually put a switch in it, and I got the belt to actually track straight on it, and I actually cut stuff with it, and not my finners. And it works. I'm very happy. So my friend sold that to me for $20. He goes, I've got $20 in it, so that's what I want out of it. And I'm like, take my money. I said I would have given you 100. He goes, nope, I got 20 into it. I want 20 out of it. Okay. And just going through and lubricating everything and just trying to make it black prep for paint. What fun. Well, the block prep is where the paint job is. The better job you do on prep and blocking and all that has a huge bearing on the outcome of your paint job. I mean, there's guys that'll block and sand for weeks. It ain't bad. It sucks. Bodywork sucks. What I always like to do or try to do, it isn't all that successful, but try to do the whole, hey, block party, come over and sand a car. But, you know, try to lure them in, all the beer you can drink and all the cold sodas that you want if you're not into beer, and we're going to do burgers and brats and whatever, and yeah, you know, lure them in with the good stuff, and yeah, just come sand a car. We tried to do that with the Beetle, and it worked out. Call it the block party. Hell yeah. Oh, block prep for, okay, prepping the engine block for paint. Yeah, when you said block prep for paint, I thought you were actually doing like body work. How are you, how are you laying down your color, Teflon Don? Are you going to brush or are you going to spray? Just finished getting upgraded all the dash lights and the wagon that never worked, and installing a deluxe lighting package it never had. Even the factory radio is rebuilt. Heater core just popped. Yeah! Yeah! Yeah. Good times. What's really disheartening is when the first time that you sand a rust bubble. Yeah, I was told there's more under there than you think, and you're like, oh yeah, okay. And then so start sanding the car, and it's got this little pinprick of a rust spot started, right? How bad can that be? That big around. That big around. That big around. Oh yeah. And if it's got like the blistery bubbles on it, oh yeah. A friend of mine would take a vehicle, and he would do the half cave and pave. He'd take a rusty ass vehicle that had all the flaky tetanus rust on it, and he'd just take hammers to it, and he would chip out all of the rust. And then he'd trim it back just a little bit to get the scaly stuff off, and then he'd just leave it. He'd oil it and leave it. And it looked unsightly, but it was, with most of the cancer gone, it slowed the rest down. And it actually worked. It looked, yeah, it was kind of his signature. You see a vehicle and you're like, that had to have been owned by, yeah, it was. Yes, Scott shaved his beard off. Yes, he did. I love Cold War motors. It's not Saturday without Cold War motors. It's not Thursday without a Cold War motors episode either. The short. Yes. Yes. Yeah, he's clean shaven again, and yeah, it's been a long time. 5 years since he's last been clean shaven. I'll bet Bun is just loving it. She's like, it's so smooth. Because I mean, crap, he had the big old ZZ Topper going on. Mexican Spec said Scott didn't shave it. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I know he did, because I know what he looks like with his beard gone. I remember him clean shaven. He did shave off his beard. Yes. His brother Andy does not look, even if Andy's clean shaven, Andy is his brother, but Andy doesn't look like Scott. He does, but he doesn't. So that was Scott. Yes. That was a nasty 6-year-old beard. It just become his thing. Whatever. Hoping by the weekend. Need to paint inner fenders yet, and been windy past few days. Oh yeah. Yeah, that sucks. No, I'm pretty confident that yes, Scott shaved. That Volvo is nice. That Volvo is unbelievably nice. How I love the little details, like when Scott, there was missing from where the doors got replaced, the pinstripe wasn't there anymore, but the pinstripe, the white pinstripe on it was faded out. So Scott taped it off and painted it and distressed it, did his own custom hand painted stripes, and then distressed them to make it match the rest of the car. I mean, like, how do you do that? Scott does some killer work. And what I can't believe about Scott is how humble he is. He's a hack, he's a nobody. There are men way more talented than he is. And he just pulls, he makes everything look easy, especially when he's making his own rust repair panels and hand knocking flat steel and using the log and the hammer and the stretcher and the shrinker and, my God, the planishing hammer. Sometimes they'll wheel out the old English wheel. And just, there's nothing that man can't do. He is literally automotive unlimited. Unlimited. Look at his fleet. What I always wanted to see, and Dino could pull this one off, seeming that the Cold War Motors gang likes to race, and they like to goof off in a field and whatnot, I think they need to do a spec race, like a 76 LTD. Everyone gets from Fliptown, from Dean's lot, Fliptown, everyone gets same year, make, model, LTD or town car, or whatever he's got. He's got enough of them. But something with a big block, like optioned out the same way. So everyone gets the same car. And then they all get a little while to work with them and then race. I think that would be so fun. Hammer for a right hand, yes. Oh, yes, the boogie van is, Ashley has such an attention to detail, and he's such a sponge. I mean, he's the only guy, other than Miles, but he's the only guy that I've seen really spring into the painting side of things. He's actually been a really good student of Scott's. And Miles is a wrenching machine. Those guys are amazing. Oh, Ashley's boogie, the boogie van just turned out. I have yet to see the interior yet, but man, the interior. Oh yes, the blue on that Datsun is just out of this world. And yeah, the attention to detail on that is amazing. I knew it was going to be good because, I mean, you figure out real quick that when Ashley wants to be, Ashley's picky. But he's kind of in the mentality of do it nice or do it twice. Yeah, it's funny that Datsun was that red chassis, stripped red chassis just sitting in the corner of the shop, and now it's functioning suspension brakes. It doesn't have door latches in it. It will run if you put a fuel pump on it. It's like, my God. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, just the boogie van alone, Ashley, on his own free time, basically replaced the whole bottom quarter of that van. Scott had taken the time and he bent up Ashley all of the panels. He says, I don't mind doing I don't mind making the panels if you'll weld them in. And that's what he did. He basically remade the whole bottom quarter of that van. And Ashley, on his free time, nice instant sub. I know where you can get a '66 Fury convertible for about 7,000 or 8,000. I'm not a convertible guy. I like hardtops. Not a convertible guy. I mean, they're cool, but they're just not my thing. Nice. Is it the blue? Is it the blue digital one, chronometer, or is it actually dial, like with hands? I'm not afraid to try to do metal. I can metal fab poorly. I enjoy all things automotive. NOS for 79, so it's the green digital. Nice. Me too. Yeah, I'm currently working on a '73 Super Beetle Lady Dougster's ride. Its name is Elka. And unfortunately, we got her this way. She's like really, really, really rusted. And somebody had actually hung the fenders on the car and then put them in with fiberglass, like where the seam, where one bolts to the body to the other, all that's been filled in. And I thought they did it for a custom look, a custom seamless look. No, it was done because that's the only way the rear fenders were going to hang off of the quarter panels. All the mounting points were all rusted away. That's why they did it. And trying to work on brakes on the Super Beetle. They just had a bad gap. Yeah, the Super Beetles is in okay shape. It'll get Lady Dougster around. It's one of her dream cars. Hear about the new perv table? It goes down on the driver. So yeah, I'm looking forward. We got the wheel bearings I just showed those. I got the wheel bearings for the Super Beetle. We'll probably be doing wheel bearings here real soon. Well, yeah, I love the stupid dad jokes. Just like with all my Hispanic friends at work, I started using this word mucho with them. And you know what? It really means a lot to them. What you drinking, Mr. Michigan? It's Keystone Light over here, baby. I've always thought about Herman's Perverts was a good name for a fan. Herman's Perverts. It is imported from Wisconsin, only available in Wisconsin. And on my way through, I picked up some. It's New Glarus Brewing Spotted Cow. It's like a farmhouse ale, and it's awesome. It's one of my favorites. Whenever I'm in Wisconsin, I bring home a buttload of this. I bought like $240 worth the last time I was there. I bought like 8 cases of beer. I felt like Smokey and the Bandit. That cow beer? You've heard of this stuff. Yeah. Yeah, spotted cow is good stuff. What's going on here? Aha. Yeah, I seen you were trying to. I didn't. Danster must have been pretty quick on the draw because I didn't see anything. But good looking out, Kev. Yeah, spotted cow. It is good stuff. Gotta finish my regular Miller and get to sleep for. Mike, good seeing you, man. About bearings. Tip about bearings. All right. Mike, good seeing you. Stop in again. Hell yeah. Monday evenings. Kevin Smith about the bearings. Try freezing the bearings or the race and they will fall in place. Yes, they will. Yes. You're welcome, man. Take care, Mike. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I can borrow a bearing heater if I need it too. Those things are cool. Those things get hot. Yeah, put them in the freezer the night before. For sure. Ever done any freeze distilling ever? Where you take like apple cider and then you freeze it and you keep freezing it. And then each time you take the bottles out and then you, whatever doesn't freeze in the bottle is pure alcohol and you drain off the what doesn't freeze and then you throw away the rest and you keep freeze distilling down till you get to the apple jack. And that stuff is powerful. Be careful with the Applejack. A little goes a long way. Not a fan of heating bearings. I'm not a fan of heating the bearings either, but I'm saying that that would be a weapon in my arsenal if I so chose to. But a lot of the guys that work in maintenance and stuff, where they got like the big 6 inchers and stuff, they're always using a bearing heater. So it depends on application. What temperature does it get to? It's under glowing, but they're hot. They're good and hot. Freezer for dropping them to inner diameter and heater for dropping them into the outer diameter. Yes. We use a Fry Daddy as a bearing heater. Hell yeah. And then you can do French fries after that. I got my bearings on and hey, I just made cod fillets. Who wants cod fillets? Good and tight is torque spec. The Lady Dougster is the first time of her ever dealing with wheel bearings, and we took that the Volkswagen has a really funny nut on it that has a pin or bolt that goes through it, and it squeezes it shut to after you've locked it into place. Instead of a cotter key, it does that. And I'm like, okay. She goes, this is loose. She tightens it up all the way, and I'm like, yeah, it's loose. Now spin the wheel. I can't. Exactly. And I go, welcome to wheel bearings, where it has to be tight enough to where it isn't going to move about. You can't have any play, but loose enough so you don't burn up the bearings in 500 miles. How do you do that? I'm like, you'll learn. I have a funny. It's my accent. Oh, so last week I showed you guys the rigid pipe wrenches. Here they are restored. Nice shot of red. Rigid. They both turned out pretty okie dokie. Oops, I dropped it. I've got two of them. Oh, I'll get it. There we go. You can see it's got the paint spots on it, like you can see it there. Oh, there it is, where it's stuck to the cardboard when I peeled it off. But they're not museum pieces. These are actually going to be put into regular service. But I made a video on it, but I'll tell you guys too. So somebody here said I should paint them red too. But Lady Dougster and I were talking, and she goes, lay some serious pipe. You know I can. I'm as popular as the City Water Commission. So someone here suggested last week I paint them red, but Lady Dougster and I were talking, and I have this blue color that I really like that I've been finding at the hardware store, and I've been starting to paint my tools. Main Street Mopar, what's happening? So I started painting my tools. It's good blue. She goes, what are you going to paint them? I said, probably that blue. And she goes, paint them red. Now, that's funny. Someone here said paint it red. Then she said paint it red. And it got me thinking, wait a minute. Most old pipe wrenches are red. And so I looked it up. Why are pipe wrenches red? And it's because they're rigid. Rigid painted their stuff red, so rigid red. So I've got to paint it red now, right? Paint with the same heavy orange paint. All my tools are orange. Yep. I was thinking about that. Like everything's going to be that color of blue. Hey, thanks. Yeah, the one side turned out marvelous. Just with an old crappy rattle can that sat out in my shop where it's not heated, so it's frozen, thawed and everything. Pulled that thing out and shook it real good and laid down the first coat. I did a video with it. It looks good. Yes, I can make my own liquid wrench. Given words. Help keep my tools separate from the company tools. Yeah, that was one of my ideas, was paint everything the same color, and I can just say blue tools are mine. Because I've got a friend of mine went to an estate sale and he bought me like 3 or 4 good made in USA Wilton and another brand C-clamps. And they were just rusty as rusty could be. And I cleaned them all up and shot them in that blue. And hey, works for me. Yeah, it's amazing. When we worked at the asphalt company, those damn guys that work there, if your toolbox was unlocked, it was fair game. They would just help themselves to your tools. It was bad. Like one day I go to get in, because every morning I would get in and I'd fire up the equipment. So I'm the first person on your truck. You get to work, your truck's running. And it's topped off on oil, whatever it needs, and running. And I open the door to one of the semi trucks, and there's my 2 of my sockets, my ratchet extension, and I didn't put those there. And I'm like, oh really? And yeah, I turned to the other guy I'm working with. I'm like, I just found my tools and unit number. He's like, oh yeah, you didn't know that? Yeah, lock every toolbox. They'll help themselves. Estate sale? Isn't that a wagon sale? Get any free saloons? Never touch another man's tool. Do they throw in the trunk for free? Well, you call a chicken coop with 4 doors. That's a chicken sedan. A chicken coop would only have 2 doors. Oh, Dino. Do they throw in the trunk for free? They might. If you ask real nice, please. Put the trunk in the boot. What do you call a nun in a wheelchair? Holy roller? Holy roller? Virgin Mobile. Falling penguin. You gotta go see the penguin. I don't want to see the penguin. You promised her. You gotta go see the penguin. I went to Catholic school for in the first grade for a month and a half. And yeah, I was kind of a mess. And my parents put me in regular school. Yeah. So I had a month and a half of the penguins. Who remembers that? The Flying Nun? Oh man, I remember that. Well, I mean reruns of it. I don't actually remember watching it as a current TV show. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. All right, I'm back. Did you miss me? If it's an electric chair, it's a frying nun. Oh. Which in a habit. Got back from Indy this morning. I got the parts I was after. That was a longer drive than I thought. Yeah. Where do you call home, MSM? You told me and I forget. Kiki says, I failed to enter police academy 4 months ago. I hope I can pass the state college test so I can collect taxes. Oh, be the tax man, huh? What did Jack and Jill have in the bucket? To fetch a pail of water. I'm currently cutting a Hurst pistol grip shifter down in size and TIG welding it to a pro ratchet base, then slipping an A-body shifter boot over it. Wagon will look like a big block 4-speed car. Yes. And that's the wife's car. John B. Guy, Father Brown. North Mississippi. North Mississippi. Wow. I bet that was a long drive. That was a long drive. Unlike last time, it didn't start the insurance. Nice. Jack and Jill had their Halloween cookie duster. Yeah, oh yeah, the old push broom. Yep. You fast. Old Danster. He's quick draw McGraw. Hey, gotta put it out there. Blue Ridge Brigade. Wood grain dash, wood grain glove box, wood grain shifter, 70s plaid seats, 451 stroker. This may be quite the car. Yeah. That will be quite the that is quite the car. It's one of my favorites in the fleet. Anyone commenting on Dougster's beautiful mustache will be handled by the Danster. Reviewing an old car? I can review an old car. I have a mustache? Yes, I have a mustache. I once, at one time, had a very sorry beard out to about here. That was back in my days of working 7 days a week, and it didn't really matter, so I just stopped shaving. And yeah, it was really bad in summertime because in food you have to wear a beard net and a hair net, and really hot days you'll be sweating, and then my beard would get soaked with sweat, and then it would actually drip on off of my beard onto my shirt. Good times. One Christmas, long ago now, my lady Dougster's like, "You want to know what I want for Christmas? What do you want for Christmas?" "The beard gone." And I said, "All right, fair enough." I said, "The stash stays." She goes, "Fine, just as long as the beard's gone." Yeah, he's got the stash. I have a stash. Actually, I think who has the stash is Buff Del Campo. Buff has got the stash. And I've been noticing I could pull off a sorry Buff Del Campo. Maybe. We may try one day. Actually, my beard grows really funny. And basically, like a line down from here down is where the beard is. It used to not connect here or here or here or here. I'm sure if I tried again, it'd be a lot more gray, but I think I could grow a better beard. But beards aren't really, I've noticed I take more after my mom's side of the family, and I've noticed that all of the guys on that side of the family pull off this mustache. Great. We're not so great in the beard department. Be like Buff and the Hulk. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's too bad that Hulk passed at the same time that Ozzy did, and Ozzy got all of the media attention. That's what so sucks. Is like it's like, oh yeah, Hulk Hogan died. Hulk Hogan died. Man, he was famous when I was a kid. Brother. And then my other favorite TV show, The A Team, and then Hulk Hogan is hanging out with Mr. T, and they're like high fiving each other, and they're friends and stuff. 1983. I'm just a little kid. That's the coolest thing ever. Ozzy was famous before the Hulk, but true. But I mean, Mark Chopper. Nice, Dino. Yeah, he was famous before the Hulk for sure. But at one time, I mean, like the Hulkster was everything. I mean, he was everywhere. Ari, what's going on? How you doing, my guy? Good to see you. They say Hulk's death is suspicious. That's strange. Oh, you know what? I think Mama hit the nail on the head. I think Mama hit the nail on the head. Divine decree, Dougster. Dean, I love I love Chopper. They have his straight jacket at Zach Bagans Museum. Saw the Hulkster at WrestleMania 1. Nice. Hulk used to have a Viper, and they call it the hot dog car because it's that weird red with the yellow wheels. It looks like a hot dog with mustard. And yeah, look up like 94 Viper hot dog car. That was Hulk's Viper. He had one of those. Oh, he was an Australian debt collector. Oh, okay. The Great Gordy? Wow. I'm jealous. Yeah, they tore down the Olympia in like 1980, didn't they? Which was really cool. When I went first time I went to Joe Louis Arena, was for a concert, and we were waiting after the show for our friends to catch up with us, and everyone who was in uniform, like building maintenance or whatever, like employees of Joe Louis Arena, all of their uniforms said Olympia on it. So it was still run by, it must be like Olympia's management stayed and took over running the Joe Louis Arena. Because that was weird that every employee said Olympia on it, said your name and Olympia. I thought that was really cool. Saw Billy Joel as St. Louis, or Joe Louis. Call them bully boys here. Olympia beer. No, 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 not Olympia beer. Olympia was the old hockey rink that or stadium that the Red Wings played in. Then they built Joe Louis Arena. They tore that down after they built Joe Louis Arena, and now they built Little Caesars Arena, and they tore down Joe Louis. I got to see country artist Garth Brooks. We got to see Garth Brooks there, and he at that time was coming to do shows, and he'd do 2 full shows a night. So you had the early show and the late show. So we went to Joe Louis Arena, and we thought we had tickets for the early show, so we really beat feet to get there. And we get to the door and we get told that we are early. There's a literal whole concert to go on before we do. And they said, "Don't worry about it. Go over there to Cobo Hall, and you can in the basement of Cobo Hall is our warming center." So we went over to the basement of Cobo Hall. That's where 6% Recycled shows his Chambler is at the basement of Cobo. So we got to wait for the whole concert at Cobo Hall. And beers at that time it was Miller Lights and Modelo's and something else. And they were $8 a beer. And I bought my whole group around and I about shit myself. How much? Well, 8, 16. Oh, okay. Yeah. Here's too much money for beer. But yeah, we ended up walking over. They took us through a tunnel, and we walked across the street and went up to the staircase to the Joe Louis. And you would have never have known watching the show that Garth Brooks had done a whole nother show before that one. It was nuts. At the Fox Theater. Nice. The Fox Theater, like Fox Theater in Detroit. Fox Theater, that'd be cool. One of the best. What's the? There's a theater in Kalamazoo, and I can't think of the name of it. It isn't the Fox. Well, anyways, it's legendary. It's a beautiful venue, and it's really cool. Yeah, Cobo Hall is a huge building. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Saw Rush Limbaugh at Masonic Temple. Wow. Megadiddles Rush. Coming from the golden microphone of the EIB radio network. Oh, Rush Limbaugh. Sometimes Dad would listen to talk radio and it would drive me nuts. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Unfinished. What's happening? Oh, God. You know what? When you caught, in our day, Dad and I cruising around in this truck, because I would ride in the rig with my dad in the summer when I wasn't in school. And cruising around with Dad, and you listen to Paul Harvey. We listen to the same radio station. And we listen to Paul Harvey in the morning with news. And then later in the afternoon, you'd hear the rest of the story. And it was just so great. Really enjoyed Paul Harvey's delivery and everything. And I guess Paul Harvey's son can almost do a spot on impression of the old man. So be careful. The guy that had those Indy heads had them rebuilt by Indy right before they moved to Ohio. Really nice. Grew up with both, mostly Kenny, 4 hungry Czech kids and a crop full of kale. Oh, the Tappet brothers. Yes. Yes. Those guys had some solid info. And it's just practical knowledge, and just that all that old stuff. It's like the the corporate autos, the corporate parts houses, your auto zones. Napa can be a wild card, but definitely not AutoZone. And like they want to sell you the right parts for your application only. There's no like, yeah, I need a tailpipe. What do you need? Well, it's for this. Well, you need this. No, I don't want that. I want something else. No, no, no. You have to have this. This is for that. I want something bigger. No, they don't offer anything bigger. So it's gotten to the point where AutoZone, where I just roll in and I already have done my pregame, already have figured out what I want, and I'll walk in saying, okay, this is for the S10. I need a full size Silverado exhaust for this year vehicle. Oh, okay, here you go. And then I'll say, I'm putting it on my S10. Ha! No, just kidding. Used to read them in the newspaper long before they had a radio show. That's awesome. My first laser show I saw was at Stone Mountain, Georgia. Okay, I did 2 laser light shows. One of them at the State Theater. That's what it is in Kalamazoo. The State Theater in Kalamazoo. We did a Pink Floyd laser light show at the State Theater, Kalamazoo. Guys, that place is awesome. It's a great place to see a show. It's old as frig. It's beautiful inside. It is a really cool place to go. State Theater in Kalamazoo. Seen a laser light show there. And then on a date, I heard on the radio that me and a group of friends went to the Kalamazoo Laser Light Show. And then the Grand Rapids Roger B. Chaffee Planetarium was doing a Pink Floyd series. And at that time, they were doing, I think it was Wish You Were Here. And so I took a date to the Pink Floyd Laser Light Show at the Planetarium, and it was from Grand Rapids to her house was probably a 45-minute drive, and I'm taking her home, and she could not shut up. She was excited and happy. She was like, this is the coolest date that I've ever been on. We took her out to dinner and we went and seen the show and everything. And she's like, this is hands down the coolest date that I've ever been on. I'm like, thank you. Brand new Crowler solid roller cam and 2 Mopar Performance engine blocks. Holy crap! Old dude getting out of the game. And you got his toys. You got the good pieces. Good for you, man. Old boy did you a solid. If you got this, and you need that too. Dean is a Kiwi. Oh, yeah. It's half a sub. Jake the Snake. Oh, books, not blocks. I was like, wow, holy wow. Okay, I can see that. Oh, I don't know what the theme for Kim and Buff is. I was barely on, what was that, Saturday? I was falling asleep in my chair. I was already half asleep when it came on. Oh, I tried. Looking through my 2-ton eyelids. feng shui. Well, if I was an elephant, I'd be a positively perfect pachyderm elephant. Was hurting too bad. That ain't good. I know that I really appreciate. I'm not afraid of mice. I really appreciate my chiropractor. She works miracles for me. Sleeping at the wheel. It was my wife's anniversary. 35 years married. Poor Mrs. Ecstasy. 35 years. That's awesome. That is awesome. My parents have celebrated 48 years this past June. And my mom was married once before, and my dad was in that wedding too. So he was present both times my mom got married. 43 years, no chance of parole. I've only been around for 32. And then Ari started making big old moon eyes. Yeah, it really surprised me when I showed Lady Dougster the cone type bearing packer. We got new bearings and everything. They're right here. I got new bearings and everything for the Super Beetle. And for a couple bucks at the cheap tool store, I got one of the grease through cone type bearing packers. And I'm like, look what I got. What's that for? I go, well, that way you don't have to put grease in your hand. She goes, but I wanna do bearings like this. And I'm like, you really do? Yeah. Okay. We'll have 34 years on the 14th of next month. Nice. It is a Lisley. No, it's not a Lisley. It's I'm sure it is a Lisley. The backer card was something else. I'm sure it was sealed up in 1985, though. You know, it's not a Lisley. It's like a motor something. But I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if it was a Lisley. Indecisive. I'm sorry. Here's to Mrs. Indecisive. Lady Dougster and I have been together over 20 years. Me and Lady Dougster are joined at the hip. Yeah. Me and her forever. I mean, I don't work on just anyone's car. But I'll work on Lady Dougster's car and her motorcycle. Lily, the S is silent. No shit, I didn't know that. You know, Indecisive, if you don't forget, they're always around. They're always nearby. 35th anniversary with Blondie. Blondie's so great. It has only stabbed me a couple times. Oh, she's a keeper. Ari. Damn you, fool! Fool! Does she end every sentence in fool? No, just kidding. Make an appointment. I'll work on it. Yeah, this bearing cone type bearing packer was $2 whole at the cheap tool store. It's your normal. It's not a major name. It's just a guy's private business. He has 2 stores and he just buys bulk everything, and tools, tarps, gloves, cheap stuff. And sometimes you get some good stuff in. And I got like a pick set and didn't spend hardly crap. I got like a little 1/4-inch breaker bar. I'll show it again. I got a cheap pick set because it was like a few bucks. And this was $10. Little Precision Craftsman precision wrench set. And I thought it was worth $10. But I showed it to Lady Dougster and she like loved it for like 25 minutes. She thought it was just the cutest thing ever. And that was worth $10. Just seeing that. Just seeing the absolute joy on her face. I got a discounted clearance air valve for one of my paint guns. And then I picked up 2 little breaker bars. 1/4-inch and 1/2-inch. Little 1/4-inch breaker bar. Absolute Chinesium, $2.49. And then I got a Stanley 3/8 little breaker bar for $5. Like, everything's reasonably priced. Years ago, they get everything from decent tools to cheap tools to wow cheap tools. So my brother-in-law and I are at the cheap tool store and he needs a set of wrenches and he gets the cheapest ones. And someone we grew up around who worked there, was familiar with the tools, stops what he's doing, turns around and says, I wouldn't buy those. Buy those, or buy those. Do not buy those. Those are junk. And he bought them anyway. And we were doing brakes on his mom's Buick Century. And opens the package, takes the wrench out of the package, brand new, first try, puts it on the brake fitting, and breaks it. Yep. And he looks at me and he goes, he told me. He did tell you. Yeah. Now he's going to do. He's like, I'm not going to go back. I'm like, okay. I put a little extra E in it. George is pretty cheap. George. George. Yes. He can be. He can be. He's better now than he ever has been. But he used to be pretty cheap back in the day. No, you don't waste money on Snap-on. Snap-on's good stuff. If you make a living with your tools, buy a good brand of tool, for sure. If you're just a weekend warrior like me, strive for the good stuff, find the good stuff, upgrade to the good stuff. But, Chinesium works until you get the real deal. Like, I don't know. You see me just go through yard sales and stuff, start looking through tools. Crap, last summer, me and my friend Eastside Eddie, we went on a motorcycle trip up to Cadillac, Michigan, and he comes over to the house because we're going to meet here and then head out. And he goes, man, before you go, he goes, I drove past a yard sale you're probably going to want to see. And I go, yeah, okay, yeah, I guess I'll go look. And he took me over to it. Guys, I spent $40 there, and I walked away with a saddlebag worth of tools on my motorcycle. Come on, there you go. That saddlebag was full of tools for $40. And I mean, I comb through everything. I bring all the tools up, and the guy goes, "You're a mechanic." And I go, "Maybe. What made you think that?" He goes, "Because you cleaned me out of my good tools." Yep, the Valkyrie. Almost got fired because of the tape measure. Whoa, is that a no tape measure or what? I like my hobo freight. Only tool from Crass, I will not bias or tape measure. They are pinned wrong. Oh, printed wrong. Don't buy Craftsman tape measures. I've always liked Lufkin tape measures. That I had an old guy show me the what's for and tape measures, and it was Lufkin. And as a matter of fact, I got a Lufkin in my toolbox right now. Fix the windshield washer fluid in the wagon that hasn't worked in years. Wiper bushings just broke. Yeah, those things are probably hammered out white plastic garbage anyway, so they're probably due for a replacement. You know, they've only been on there for 50 years. Windshield washer squirters. Holy wow, what are you going to do with that, Mr. Big City? Diamond Jim. My God, Diamond Jim. Our company just lost a whole truckload of money because of the tape measure. Oh, ooh, that sucks. Well, back in the day, a friend of mine would actually, if you had precision tools, he worked at a company that part of his job was calibrating tools. And he'd make sure everything had to be in spec. So every measuring device would come to him and he'd have to calibrate them. And it would not be uncommon for him to swing by and then pick up all of your stuff. And then he would take it to work and calibrate it and then bring it back. And you'd get calibration tags on it and everything. Everything's good till next September. It's like, okay, thanks. Patrick, welcome. Ooh, the Dart. Craftsman hand tools are great. That is one of my brands that I pick up. And I've got some neat stuff in the Craftsman brand. They're in my toolbox. I'll bring 2 of them out that you guys will like. I like them. Oh, mechanical screwdrivers. I got 2 of them. I got one, it's wooden handle, and it says Craftsman. Where does it say Craftsman? Yeah, I just showed it to you. Can't read it. Of course, it's not going to focus. Well, anyways, it's a Craftsman brand push screwdriver. And it's reversible by the collar. turn the collar, you got neutral and you got reverse. And then, so I don't know how old that one is. Of course, it's made in USA. And then I have its more contemporary counterpart. And I like the font on this one. Can't hardly read it. Sorry, guys. There you go. CRAF. Craftsman. So the cap rotates, which exposes a bit, and there's a bunch of bits in this holder, and then it's a mechanical screwdriver, and it has like these little drill bits on them. So it's like a hand-operated drill. It's actually a pretty cool tool. Yeah, this one I can't hold on to the collar and cycle it, but it works. It works like it should. Yeah, I got that out of a garage sale. They had a toolbox, and I just picked through the toolbox. I got a snap-on swivel socket, one snap-on swivel socket. This old Craftsman level. And the Craftsman logo on it is the crown. So you know it's old. And all for nothing. The guy's like, sure you don't want the toolbox? I'm like, no, I don't need the toolbox. But I want these. Sure you don't want the toolbox? No, I don't want the toolbox. Yeah, early cordless screwdriver, yeah. Now, I've never seen the one like Elwood has in the Blues Brothers. His is like 18 inches or some crap. And he's like, zoop, 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 zoop. But yeah, this is, this one, when I got it, this is one of the tools I got from that $40 haul, was this. And it was just, you could tell that it had not been played with or used in a very long time. And I spent a lot of time cleaning and lubricating it to get her to see it sticks. That's what it used to do all the time. So she's still got a ways to go, but no chips or anything on the wood handle or anything. But yeah, I think that probably might be the oldest Craftsman piece I have. Oh, and it's ratcheting. It's a nice tool. Haha. No, it's Kenny Rogers in the, I think it's the 5th edition, isn't it? With tunes like "What Condition My Condition Was In." All I can think of is Jeff Lombowski on his back. Twisted Mopar Garage, Dennis. What's happening? Oh, nothing much. I was just showing off some old tools I've got. An old Craftsman mechanical screwdriver. Yes, it's Craftsman. Believe me, it says it right there, printed in its collar. It's Craftsman. Works really nice. Check that out when it reverses direction. Actually pretty interesting. Yeah, it needed a lot of TLC. This is a phenomenal live. Well, thank you. And then this is like my push drill, which I've yet to use this. I've used the other one. But yeah, there's no museum tools here. They all will be used for their intended purpose. Thermoguard. What's a thermoguard? Or a thermostat? I'll take the fifth on that. I might incriminate myself. One of the idiots I used to work with would say stuff like, I'd plead the fifth, but I drank it. Da-da-da. May run it just for kicks. Okay, I'm going to run these tools back to the toolbox. Thermoquad? Thermoquad! Turbo Town's boss's father's mouth. Bow, bow, bow. I love old tools. Good old made in USA stuff. Back when they made stuff with pride and stuff was made to last and they didn't have engineered obsolescence into it. I ran back though. Yes, I did run away. I had to put the tools away. You don't just leave your tools out. Oh, wow. We've been on for 2 hours and 10 minutes. Unfortunately, I'm going to pull the plug on it. So, everyone, thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out with me. Have a great evening. Let's be just like the Beach Boys and let's get together and do it again. Bye, everybody.